How's it going, movie and TV fans? Welcome back to another review on the channel. Fluxy Film Talk here. But first of all, before we get started, I just want to say Happy Halloween to everyone out there who's watching this video, as it is premiered on YouTube on the 31st of October 2021. Happy Spooky Day 2021. This is being pre-recorded. This is part 1 of a 2-part Halloween 2021 special, and I don't mean Halloween is in the series, I mean is in the holiday. I know that's a bit confusing, but that's what it means by having a 2-part special. We're reviewing Halloween 2018 and the just recently released Halloween Kills, so stay tuned for that review being released on the same day. And this week as well is going to be we're going to have a video being put out on Wednesday as well, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It's a big old week, so stay tuned for that as well as the other stuff going up. But today we're talking about Halloween 2018. Now, Halloween 2018 obviously came out in 2018, no shit. Directed by David Gordon Green, stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Toby Huss, and many other people. And with a score by and returning as an executive producer, John Carpenter, as well as the score being co-composed with his son and godson, his son and godson, Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davis, respectively. But Halloween 2018 is basically a remake of Halloween 2, and I think that in itself is an interesting concept, if you ask me. But I think personally the film here is just, I like the visuals in this movie. I think visually it's a very good looking movie, but it also lends itself to maybe a bit different flair, because it looks a lot like a lot of just modern movies, and I think maybe there could have been something to make it look more unique, but I suppose maybe that was just hindered in the editing process. But the score here by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davis is fantastic as always. I think Michael Myers is really fantastic in this movie as well. And yeah, I just think in total this movie is a lot of fun, and I think as a revisiting of the Halloween series nearly 10 years after the last movie in the series, it's definitely interesting. And I think it works on many a level, but I think there's a few flaws with this movie, but not as many as I have got to discuss when talking about Halloween Kills. So with Halloween Kills, there's a few problems here and there, but for me with this one, with Halloween 2018, I think that most of all it gets Michael Myers right, and I do like the whole setup of him escaping and Laurie being, emotionally scarred by it and stuff. And I like to see expanding of the universe with the family kind of stuff, her daughter and granddaughter, and that's really well done here as well. I think it is a bit pointless to have the podcasters, because that was a really pointless side plot that went fucking nowhere. So, that's what I'm saying on that one. But I just think it's a very good effort at reviving a classic horror franchise in the right places with the right things. It did start the modern trend of remakes that ignore most of the sequels and just are flat out the name of the series to make more money. So, notable examples I can think of now are this movie, the Candyman reboot that came out recently. That's a big one that comes to my mind. But arguably this series did that before then, because there are 3 movies out there called Halloween. There's Halloween 78, the original, Halloween 2007, directed by Rob Zombie, and then Halloween 2018, this one. So yeah, but I just think the ending for here with Jamie Lee Curtis in the house and everything burning down and her family going away, that's so well dealt with, and I do like how it almost not wraps up, but I like the way it unfolds the story of Michael Myers. And I think the way they trap him in the basement is really cool. And my favourite bit about that scene is that he doesn't try and escape or walk away or do anything or say anything. He just looks up at them through the stairs for the spikes, and he just looks as the house starts to burn. He just looks at them, and they walk off. And I think that's really just the best way to describe Michael Myers, is like that, really. And I really do enjoy this. The setup here is fantastic as well, I must admit. There's a lot of great tracking shots of Michael Myers and a lot of recreating shots from previous movies, which is cool. There's also a nice nod to Halloween 3, where some of the kids who are trick-or-treating, they're wearing silver shamrock masks, which was the whole thing in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, so that's a nice little Easter egg as well. But it definitely did set a benchmark, because not only was it a good movie, it was also hugely successful at the box office, being one of the most successful horror movies of recent memory ever. And I don't think that's going to stop with, obviously, the Halloween Kills coming out a couple of days ago, 6 days ago, and Halloween Ends coming out in exactly a year's time. I don't think Michael Myers is going to disappear for very long after that movie comes out. But like I said, having been 10 years since the last Halloween movie came out and this one came out, I don't think they expected it to be as successful as it was. I suppose it might have had something to do with the fact that around the time this movie came out, it was the 40th anniversary of the original, so that may have had something to do with it. But you never know. I mean, it's an iconic. The original's iconic. That music is iconic as well, and it's done just as great here. You're hearing a piece called "The Shape Haunts Allison," which is just one of the most memorable pieces from the entire soundtrack. This review was previously recorded and set to premiere with the Halloween theme from this movie over it, but I changed my mind, so I'm re-recording it. But I just think this movie is a great reinvention of Halloween, a great way to set up the next part in the trilogy. Obviously, I do think one of my problems with this is those podcaster characters don't need to be here. That can be cut out completely, and that's obviously killing off unnecessary characters, which they will do to a much higher degree in Halloween Kills, which we'll talk about very soon. But yeah, overall, Halloween 2018 is just an all-round enjoyable movie with a great cast as well. A lot of the performances are fantastic here as well. I think everyone pulls it out of the bag. I really like Toby Huss in this movie, and obviously there's the rather unusual line that he goes, "God damn it, I've got peanut butter on my penis," and it's just out of nowhere. It's stupid and funny, but it works, I suppose. Michael Myers is once again menacing again in this movie, where I'm sure some of the later entries in the series, we're not talking about Halloween 07 or Halloween 2 or 9, we're talking about Revenge of Michael Myers and stuff like that. Those movies where he wasn't as spooky as maybe he could have been. But movie definitely worth watching if you're looking for a spooky movie to watch on the 31st. But I know what spooky movie I'm watching on the 31st. That is Spiral from the Book of Saw. But I think this movie has a lot to offer, and a lot can be taken from it in a lot of respects, really. I think it really does work, you know. It does enough to keep you interested. The ending does enough to keep you want to see what happens next and stuff. The Dr. Loomis-esque character in this movie, I can't remember his name, but he's a bit unusual and he does some stupid things, but I think overall this is a good movie. But I think I personally, having watched these two back to back quite recently, personally prefer Halloween Kills, but we'll get to that very, very soon, I assure you. I suppose I should talk a little bit about my personal issue with this series and my personal thoughts and feelings about the rest of the series. And that is that I have seen the first one, I've seen the second one, I've seen the third one, then I skipped all the way forward to this one, and I saw Halloween Kills in the cinema. So, for me, Halloween has always been a series that's intrigued me. I've seen it a lot of times. I remember when the video was uploaded to the Universal Pictures YouTube channel, the Halloween announcement announcing Kills and Ends, and I saw that video and I thought, well, I don't really know much about the Halloween series, so is it really going to be my thing? But here we are, almost 2 years after that announcement was made, and I have seen the latest installment in the series in the cinema, Halloween Kills. But we'll talk about that very soon. I think Another thing to think about is David Gordon Green's directing style here, and the way he uses the camera and shots and stuff, which is really, really, really good. And you get lots of the right angles on Michael Myers. It's not above him, so he looks, stupid. You're getting shots looking up at him, looking down. It's really just perfect in my opinion. I suppose I want to talk more about the score as well, the soundtrack of this movie, by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davis. I think the score here is it sounds like a Halloween soundtrack. It's the first Halloween movie to have any involvement of John Carpenter's since Halloween 3 Season of the Witch in 1982. So that's an interesting thing to think about. But for me, I like the costume here. Michael Myers' costume and the mask is fantastic here. It looks ultra really good as well. I do like the harkening back to the babysitter thing which we do in this movie. There's a scene where there's a babysitter. I think that's a really neat reference to where the series was and where it's going, which is really kind of cool. I really admire that from the filmmakers to do that kind of thing. But just in general, I think this movie, I can't lie, I've got it on in the background as I'm recording this, and it does take a while to get into gear. The bit with the podcasters, like I said, I find really boring, and I just think it could easily be cut out and you wouldn't be missing much. I get it's a reintroduction to the characters and stuff, and you get to see Michael at the beginning, but I really think it could be cut out completely and you wouldn't be missing much at all, because they just die off later on in the movie, so they have no hindrance on the plot. They have nothing to do with the later plot in the movie or how it goes on. They're not even mentioned in Halloween Kills. It's really just something where it could have been cut and it would have been just as fine. I don't know if it's put in just to pad the runtime, because if you cut it out, I'm sure it will sink under 1 minute. It will sink under 1 hour 30 minutes, and that's not good for a movie to be under an hour and a half. Really, at the cinema, they're really ever under an hour and a half. And horror movies themselves are usually an hour and a half, because that's the right length for a horror movie. A lot of big action movies are just over 2 hours. Although lately I've been seeing a trend of a lot of movies being over 3 hours or nearly 3 hours for absolutely no fucking reason. The Last Duel is 2.5 hours. That doesn't need to be that fucking long. Eternals is nearly 3 hours long. There is no reason for that movie to be 3 hours long. Bond is nearly 3 hours long. No Time to Die. There was no reason for that to be 3 hours long at all. I just think it's a stupid trend and it needs to stop. But we're talking about Halloween here, so let's get back to the fact that this movie is a nice and crisp and sweet 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is also the same length for Halloween Kills, so that's totally not fucking annoying. But like I said, it's the right length if you ask me. There's a few characters that are killed off. Mostly Toby Huss's character gets killed off, unfortunately, towards the end of this movie. But I do like the ending where they're in Laurie Strode's house. I think that's really sick, and I think it's really cool as well. Like the way it's set up, the way she set her house to be the ultimate trap thing for Michael, and to really see Laurie almost be quite. She's definitely a badass in this movie, but to see her have her entire house scattered with weapons and traps and stuff, and it's a bit disorientating at times, I suppose. But there's some really good kills here as well. I think the best one to talk about is the kill when Michael kills Oscar, which is Laurie's daughter Allison's boyfriend's friend, which is really complicated, but that also does come into play in the next movie. But he stabs him, and then he impales him on a on a fence thing, and then Allison walks over and sees him impaled. And this is the music that plays during that scene, by the way, and that's what makes this scene so memorable. This music is so John Carpenter-esque, which is really cool to see. But it's just a great scene, and there's some really good kills here. But like I say, unironically, the movie called Halloween Kills has a lot more kills than this movie does, which is I also like one of my favourite things about this personally is I like the fact that it's constantly like we are told explicitly several times, well, at least in the next one, but we are shown in this one that it isn't Michael Myers. Although Laurie is under the belief that Michael Myers is coming after her on Halloween night, and he eventually does, that's not his first intention. Is not to go straight after Laurie. He only got near where Laurie's house was because of Michael Myers' then doctor at the time, who I can't remember his name, but who was driven, who actually decided to take Michael Myers to Laurie's house. So that's how that happened. It's not because he was going directly after Laurie, which is a really cool thing to do, I think, and it really works in the movie's favour, personally, I think. But it's just it adds to the story plot. I can't lie, it really does add to the story, and that is my review of Halloween 2018. So happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you have some fun watching some spooky movies or going to scare attractions and getting spooked yourself. Get spooked, have loads of fun. Don't forget to check out the second part of this Halloween special where we're talking about Halloween kills. So yeah, stay spooky. Stay spooky. Stay spooky, have fun, enjoy Halloween. It's going to be a hell of a night. I know what I'm doing. I'm watching Spy from the Book of Saw. But thank you for watching my review of Halloween 2018. And stay tuned for part 2 of this review coming out on the same day. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and stay spooky, everyone.